In the quaint village of Elmwood, there stood an old house that had been in the Bramford family for generations. This house, with its creaking floors and antique furniture, had always been the subject of local legends. But nothing was as eerie as the children's room, filled with an extensive collection of dolls passed down through the ages. Sophie and Jack Bramford were the latest inhabitants of the family home, along with their two children, Emma and Max. Emma had always been fascinated by the dolls, each with its own unique story and character. Max, on the other hand, preferred to keep his distance, feeling an odd discomfort whenever he was near them. Little did they know, their lives were about to change dramatically. One stormy night, as lightning illuminated the dark skies and thunder echoed through Elmwood, Emma and Max were tucked in their beds. The wind howled, making the ancient house groan as if it were alive. Emma, clutching her favorite doll Emily, drifted into a deep sleep, while Max pulled his blanket tightly around himself, his eyes darting around the room. At the stroke of midnight, Max was jolted awake by a loud thud. His heart raced as he scanned the room, now lit only by intermittent flashes of lightning. There, in the center of the room, stood one of the dolls, a porcelain figure with a cracked face and lifeless eyes, now mysteriously out of its place on the shelf. Max rubbed his eyes, thinking it must be a dream. However, when the doll's head slowly turned to face him, he knew this was no illusion. Paralyzed with fear, Max watched as more dolls began to move, their tiny limbs creaking with each step. They formed a circle around his bed, their eyes fixed on him. Just when Max thought he couldn't bear another second, the door swung open and Emma rushed in, drawn by his muffled cries. She, too, froze in shock as she saw the scene before her. Summoning every ounce of courage, Emma grabbed her brother's hand and bolted for the door. They raced down the hallway to their parents' room, breathless and trembling. Sophie and Jack, initially skeptical, followed their children back to the room, only to find the dolls back in their places, as if nothing had happened. The room was filled with an unsettling silence. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Sophie and Jack installed cameras in the children's room the next day. That night, as the family huddled together watching the footage, their faces paled. The cameras captured the dolls moving on their own, whispering in voices too soft to hear clearly, but the words, protect, and danger, stood out. Realizing the situation was beyond their understanding, the Bramfords sought the help of a local historian, Mr. Everett, who specialized in the occult. After examining the dolls, Mr. Everett revealed that they were once owned by children who had lived in the house long ago. These children had met tragic ends, and their spirits were now trapped within the dolls, trying to warn the family of an impending doom. With Mr. Everett's guidance, the Bramfords held a ceremony to release the trapped spirits, hoping to bring peace to the haunted room. As the final chant echoed through the house, a palpable sense of calm settled over them. The dolls, once creepy and foreboding, now seemed to simply be inanimate toys once more. From that day on, the children's room in the Bramford house was quiet. Emma and Max could finally sleep peacefully, and the family moved forward, forever changed by the mysterious events that had unfolded. The old dolls remained on their shelves, silent witnesses to a strange and unforgettable chapter in the Bramford family history.